Not all wars begin with explosions or declarations. Some conflicts, like the one between Eritrea and Ethiopia, grow quietly, hidden in denials and rumors. In the Horn of Africa, alliances shift overnight, and peace deals are often just pauses in a cycle of mistrust. The real battle is fought in shadows, proxy forces, political maneuvering, and strategic silence. For those living near the borders, the uncertainty is constant. Rumors of troop movements, fear of escalation, and a fragile peace that could shatter at any moment. As October 2025 arrives, the world is finally waking up to a conflict that's been simmering just beneath the surface, threatening to erupt. Eritrea and Ethiopia were once brothers in arms, united against a common enemy, the Derg regime. Their joint victory in 1991 led to Eritrea's independence, but the camaraderie quickly dissolved into disputes over borders and sovereignty. The small town of Badme became the flashpoint, igniting a brutal war in 1998 that left tens of thousands dead. The Algiers Agreement in 2000 was meant to settle the border, but Ethiopia's refusal to accept the ruling left both nations locked in a Cold War for nearly 2 decades. This period cemented deep mistrust, especially between Eritrean President Isaias Afwerki and Ethiopia's TPLF-led government. For Isaias, the TPLF became an existential threat, and the legacy of betrayal shaped the region's politics for a generation. The wounds of that broken brotherhood still define every move on the Horn of Africa's chessboard. In 2018, Ethiopia's new leader, Abiy Ahmed, promised peace and embraced Eritrea's president, ending years of hostility, at least on paper. The celebrated peace deal was less about reconciliation and more about a shared enemy, the TPLF. When war erupted in Tigray in 2020, Eritrean troops joined Ethiopian forces, turning a domestic conflict into a regional one. Eritrea's involvement was brutal and extensive, but when the Pretoria Peace Agreement ended the war in 2022, Eritrea was left out of the negotiations. For Asmara, the TPLF's survival meant unfinished business, and the alliance with Addis Ababa began to unravel. The peace that was supposed to end conflict instead set the stage for new instability. Eritrea's foreign policy thrives in the shadows, relying on denial and ambiguity. President Isaias avoids open warfare, instead using proxies and covert operations to shape events in Ethiopia and beyond. When accused of meddling, Eritrea responds with silence or flat denial, creating a fog that frustrates international response. This silence projects strength and keeps rivals guessing, while Eritrea pursues its own security interests. During the Tigray War, overwhelming evidence of Eritrean involvement was met with official denials, allowing Asmara to weaken the TPLF without direct accountability. Eritrea's tight control of information and mastery of shadow tactics make it a uniquely unpredictable force in the region. Its power lies not in open confrontation, but in the art of strategic ambiguity. By October 2025, the fragile peace has collapsed into open accusations. Ethiopia formally accuses Eritrea at the UN of preparing for war and destabilizing Ethiopia by supporting insurgents in Amhara. Eritrea responds with silence, refusing to acknowledge or deny the charges, maintaining its strategy of ambiguity. The Tigray Interim Administration rejects Ethiopia's claims, insisting recent cross-border contacts are peaceful. Each side accuses the other of fabricating crises, deepening the mistrust. The region is now caught in a three-way standoff: Ethiopia's alarm, Eritrea's silence, and Tigray's denials. The path to renewed conflict has never seemed shorter. The crisis is rooted in decades of distrust and clashing ambitions. Eritrea sees Ethiopia as unreliable, especially after years of ignoring the border ruling and now making peace with the TPLF. President Isaias fears the TPLF's survival and seeks to keep Ethiopia weak and divided. Ethiopia, meanwhile, views Eritrea as a spoiler, not a partner, especially as Prime Minister Abiy pursues access to the sea, a move Asmara sees as a direct threat. The Red Sea's strategic value has drawn in global powers, turning the Horn of Africa into a geopolitical battleground. Eritrea's growing ties with Egypt and Ethiopia's internal rebellions add more layers to the crisis. As Ethiopia struggles with unrest in Amhara and Oromia, Eritrea exploits the chaos, keeping its neighbor off balance. The result, a perfect storm of mistrust, ambition, and instability. Lasting peace between Eritrea and Ethiopia feels out of reach. Their goals and fears are fundamentally opposed. Eritrea's shadow strategy makes diplomacy nearly impossible, while the international community is left powerless without clear evidence of aggression. The people of the Horn of Africa remain trapped by the ambitions and grudges of their leaders. The conflict has become a multi-layered struggle, with shifting alliances and international interests all focused on the Red Sea. Real peace would require a radical shift in thinking, putting people before power and trust before suspicion. For now, the region stands on a knife's edge, its fate shaped by the silent maneuvers of a hidden war.